Hello, my friends. This is the continuation of the building of the Compass Star Kayak, and here I'm permanently bonding the deck and the hull together. Okay, here we're going to glue the two halves of the kayak together, and I'm here working with my assistant and apprentice. Okay, what I just did is I filled the top and bottom on both ends with micro balloons. So it's a real light filler. It adds almost no weight to the kayak. And then I'm smearing this wood dough on the surfaces. And this will be adhesive for the tip. And the reason I'm doing this is the fiberglass webbing that I put on the inside will not be able to be reached all the way to the point. So this area here, we'll glue it together. And I had already set the two halves together and they look like a real close fit. So it was dry fitted first. I'm smearing it on both surfaces and then I'm going to let it squeeze out. Well, my apprentice had to go home. He didn't tell his parents that he was over here, so they came looking for him. So hopefully he's not in too much trouble. Both sides have the epoxy, thickened epoxy. And we remove the spacers. So the two ends get fastened first, then the middle, and then we go and keep dividing it up. Now the ends I'm going to wrap. Pull it tight. Starting at the center of the kayak. This is fiber tape. Pulling this very taut. I'm aligning the edges as I push on that. And then you go midway. There's some areas where I'm having trouble pulling it together, so I'm using the inner tube, and it's really squeezing that tight and holding the two halves together. Then I'll remove the inner tube after it's taped. And the ends I'm tucking so it's easy to remove. Push the two halves together so the outside edges line up. After you get all the edges taped together, it's joined real tight, and now what you need to do is run a piece of tape across where the parting line is, so when you're epoxying on the inside you won't have the epoxy dripping out. So I'm going to run the same tape just because it's sticks better to itself down the entire length of the kayak on both sides. And again, the purpose of this is to keep the epoxy from dripping from the inside. Some of the seam is so tight, I'm having trouble seeing where it is. So it went together pretty tight. It's a good fit. It's been a couple hours since I've taped this together, and that couple hours allowed the kayak to flex and gave me a problem here where the deck was pushing off the side, moving the tape. So what I did is I pulled it back in and I'm supporting it with these rubber bands. So now this area here is real tight. And I have it on its side and I'm getting ready to glass the inside seam. And the sooner I get that done, the better, because it's going to lock the kayak in permanently and into its shape, and I don't want it slipping from the tape a second time. Okay, the kayak's on its side and it's ready to be glassed on the inside. So I'm going to do this side first. Okay, I cut the length a foot short on each end, and I rolled it to the middle. So now I have these two rolls, and I marked the center. Now I'm going to pre-soak these with the epoxy, and that will eliminate a problem of wetting out the glass when you're pushing it in. It'll be pre-wet. Also, I will wet the seam on the inside with epoxy, so when this touches that, we have our perfect bond. Okay, now I need to mix the epoxy. To work inside the kayak, you got to be able to see. You need a work light. So I used this paper clip right here and hooked the work light onto it. And you can see the entire length. To spread the epoxy to the bow and the stern, you need to be able to push it. So what I did is I cut the end of a brush off and I hot glued it onto an end of a stick at about a 30-degree angle, and that will allow me to push that epoxy and work it in the far corners, far ends. I mixed 3 ounces of epoxy, and I'm going to spread it on the seam, and I'm also going to pour epoxy in the bag that has the tape, and then you massage it into the tape. So I'm not going to be able to narrate because I'm going to turn my exhaust fan on and I'm going to have my respirator on, and my head's going to be inside here at a few times, and the fumes will get pretty bad. So this is a must. Thanks for watching, my friends. Bye-bye.